Things with there's dogs with a name. This podcast with no aim. Let it happen.
Chloe.
Enjoy talking about fuck all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The podcast with no aim. The podcast with no aim. The podcast is the podcast with no aim.
Hello, you are listening to the podcast with no aim, and I am the podcaster formerly known as Matt because fuck it, I'm transgender. Call me Chloe now. That's a thing. With me is Joel. He's back.
Wait 1 second. What's that? I'm just looking out of my window, and I see two trailer park girls go round the outside. Guess who's back? Back again. Joel's back. Tell a friend about our podcast because no one's listening.
And we've also got Nick here, who's finally got his Skype working.
Yeah, Microsoft blows. I think that's any secret or anything. Yeah.
Xbox One.
I had no time to play video games or anything. I have no opinions. Everything I say is void and null. Just ignore me. Proceed with the podcast.
So we've got one major thing to discuss, which is where the fuck Joel was last week and left us fending for ourselves in the grubby wilds like filthy animals. But first of all, we should probably do safe words. So Joel, what's yours?
Keep saying that and I'm gonna leave again.
Fair enough. Nick, what's your safe word?
Alexa, tell a joke.
A man walks into a bar and says, "Ouch."
That's the first one we've ever had on the podcast. And my safe word is going to be slightly weird because basically I've been reading a book called Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk, and if you know what he's like, he's got some really pessimistic lines in here. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read a line from this at some point, just shout it at you, and that's going to be my safe word. That should confuse you. So now, Joel, where the fuck were you?
I went to the Himalayas to find myself.
I hate to do this.
I didn't.
No, I hate to do this. I hate to be that person, but Himalayas?
I fucked up. I'm so sorry. But I'm the one supposed to like cartography and so on.
Maps. Yeah.
Oh,
How's
God,
that been going anyways?
Himalayas, that... Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
It's like
I'm
when
so
an American
sorry.
says Caribbean or something, it just... Oh,
What's wrong with Caribbean?
it's wrong, Nick. That's what's wrong with it.
I don't know any better, so I'm not going to change.
Wait, so what's the correct way to say Caribbean? Oh.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
That's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I just
Pirates
thought
of the
that's it.
Caribbean. No one calls it Pirates of the Caribbean because that doesn't sound as cool.
Actually, I do think it sounds more exotic and cool, but that's probably because... Yeah.
Because you're more used to the right way to say it.
What is more exotic
Yes.
and cool than Britain? Don't answer that. Anyway, Nick, what were you
Yes.
doing in the Himalayas?
You mean Joel?
Joel, what were you doing in the Himalayas? Nick, what were you doing in the Himalayas?
Apparently taxes.
You can't avoid them. That's
No.
there. Anyway, Joel,
Yeah.
what were you doing?
I tried to find myself, but I lost myself because I punched in a hole into the map, not answering further questions.
That was a good
I want
callback.
to ask the questions that are in my head.
Joel, did you end up in some sort of group that taught you how to use magic and, transfer between different locations to protect us from the evils of time and space?
I actually learned something about magic, and it's the greatest thing I never learned in school. And
Is it that
that's
magic's fake?
what?
Is it that magic's fake?
No, it's that. Do you know what a wand is called? The word wand, like a magic wand, is called in French.
Oh no, I
Le
vaguely recall this.
baguette magique. It's the greatest fucking thing.
I think my favourite's still the German word for mobile phones. That gets me cracking every time.
You mean handy?
Handy. We all handy. It's fucking handy. I don't care.
You have no idea how long it took me to finally realize. Working on applications for German companies and them asking me to put a field in called handy, and I'm like, what exactly? Okay, I'm just gonna do it.
Company expenses now just assume there's enough prostitution in there to make it worth just putting in there.
Well, if they say so.
Yeah, at least they're honest. Okay, fair enough. I guess we can move on to our derail. Well, our first one anyway. So for those who've not listened before, may God have mercy on your soul for the next half hour. And we're going to basically talk for 10 minutes. We use the derail to change the conversation. We'll each do that. Then we're going to pitch you basically what you listen to.
Which will most likely be the title of this episode.
Most likely. So you already know what we're going to pitch you. The fun is getting there.
Yeah.
Learning is
how did we get to that insane,
Yeah, learning is half the battle. The other half is aggressive violence and machine guns.
I thought it was blue and green lasers.
Why not?
Or was it red
laser machine guns?
It depends on what 80s cartoon show you're watching, I guess.
Power Rangers.
No.
Do they have lasers in that? They just have like explosions caused by like fireworks.
No, they had guns in Power Rangers. I can tell you for definitely because I'm watching it.
But did they have lasers? Or did they just like fire and then explode?
Chloe, I have to warn you because I have never watched the Power Rangers. So you can talk about the Power Rangers. I'm not going to use my safe word yet, but you might want to keep it in a way that I can.
Yeah, and a certain cloud-based AI might have to tell a joke.
No one understands Power Rangers at all anymore. That's just not a thing. People don't. Literally, I'm watching a series called Dino Thunder, which past listeners will have heard the opening theme song for it in our last episode. That was what that was. And basically, it's the episode that had the 500th episode of Power Rangers in it, and that came out in 2004. So they decided for their 500th episode anniversary, they would have a summary episode of everything they talked about. They decided to recap the plot of Power Rangers.
How long was it?
It was 20 minutes long, and it was because you could tell they'd missed out bits where certain actors had left and they'd taken different roles. So you had it was just I was the red Power Ranger. I thought you were the green one a minute ago, and it's just never explained. It was I just sat there with my where you're watching something, you're not stoned necessarily, but you're definitely tired and drunk.
Yeah.
You've got your jaw is slack, your hands in your head, and you're just sort of lying there like that. I can't say like that because this is an audio podcast, but you're lying there like Edward Norton in Fight Club when he's got insomnia and he's lying on the sofa. That'll work as a reference. Yeah, that. You're just sitting there like that. Just what the fuck is going on? I love Power Rangers. Anyway, I should probably get onto what was the derail? Did I say a derail?
We never did a derail. It would have to be me or Joel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that was a lengthy opening bit of me talking about Power Rangers.
That's
Nick,
fine.
Derail.
Oh, okay. So I shared a link. I doubt either of you actually watched the music video, but it's a kind of a callback to a previous episode.
I did, but I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, the music and the video itself don't really matter, but what I really want to talk about is YouTube comments.
Oh, please, no. Can we not?
So I was really excited about this band putting out a new song, and it finally came out. I'm not going to explain who the band is or anything else like that, but people are upset because the song's too good.
What?
Wait, what?
People are upset because the song is too accessible. It only requires 2 or 3 listens to it to understand what the song's about and to understand, let it sink in how great the song actually is. And that's too accessible. So my question to you is, what do you think about that? Like when you have a band that nobody else likes and then all of a sudden you see them actually release and go mainstream, is your initial reaction total disgust and that they sold out and this current singer is not as good as the old singer who is actually the second singer, and they brought back the first singer for this album, and people don't really realize it, but things like that,
so there's
bullshit.
Part of the fan base which actually is quite excited or is torn because on the one hand they're excited that they're bringing back the first singer. But on the other hand, their hipster selves is slightly dying.
It gets better.
Oh,
you know
right.
why?
Oh, no.
Because the band was not as well known with the first singer who's back.
Yeah.
But the people that everyone's like, they sold out because they replaced the singer, forget to realize that they made like hit charts with that second singer.
Yeah.
And they were more popular with him than they ever were before. And so basically they're saying that they sold out because he's riding on the fame of the second singer who didn't sell out, but they sold a lot of records and became very popular. And that's diluted the music.
No.
And also, they don't do enough drugs now, and that's why the music's bad.
No, my head hurts. My head hurts.
I mean,
Have you read YouTube comments that like
No, they're obsessed.
never read YouTube comments.
like have you ever been to YouTube and read the comments and just had like a moment of like you have to keep reading because they're just so absolutely asinine and terrible?
I mean, yes, it's kind of a guilty pleasure sometimes, or it's actually bad when sometimes I listen to music on YouTube because sometimes it does actually have good suggestions, and I've discovered a lot of good music through YouTube recommendations, and sometimes I see myself scrolling through the comments, but it just ruins the experience because there's always someone who completely ruins the vibe, and I just don't get it why you think you need to comment on this piece. Or, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? Dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. I mean, people dislike this. Alright, so just anyone can say, like, nah, bad song. It's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, okay?
Now,
I
I've
know.
only
I
seen
feel
one.
your pain, Joel. The newest Lady Gaga album got so many dislikes. I don't listen to Lady Gaga.
I don't listen to Beethoven.
No. There is something amazing out there on YouTube, and I'll have to share it with you guys at some point. But there is a YouTube clip of Futurama of just a guy saying, "I don't feel one way or the other." That's all he says. And the thumbs up and the thumbs down are almost always exactly equal. I'm pretty sure Reddit's to blame for that, but
Probably. Just general life practice. General life practices blame Reddit from my experience.
yeah,
What is it?
or 4chan.
I mean, fan bases in general are just the worst. Let's be honest. Like, have you heard about the new Legend of Zelda game?
What the Jim Sterling?
Oh yes, the Jim Sterling. Okay, Joel, you won't know about this because you're not into games, but
Yeah.
basically the Nintendo. You know Nintendo, right?
They're the ones with the sorry, I
With the
won't-
racist Italian plumber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Basically, they've launched a new console called the Switch, which, I mean, they're just naming stuff after sex at this point. They basically, well, the last one was called the Wii, or Wii U, it's all sexual. Basically, they launched their new system, and it had a game called Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on it. And it's been getting lots of great reviews, 10s out of 10s from plenty of places. And it was I think it was a 98 on Metacritic, which is like this big, like IMDb for games kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Jim Sterling's review was a 7 out of 10, which has brought it down to, wait for this, Joel, this is the absolute kicker, it's brought it down from a 98, a lofty 98, to the lowest dredges of a 97.
Kill him right now, burn him on the stake.
Meaning that this game that has just launched, that has bugs and frame rate issues and runs poorly on one of the systems it's on, is no longer rated as the best game of all time.
What?
Not the best, but one of the best, yeah.
No, 'cause like 98 is I think the highest any game's got. I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is the 98.
So there was Half-Life, which received 11s out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of bullshit, which I don't think they counted in Metacritic. I don't think Metacritic existed back then. I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
We
sad.
didn't have Metacritic.
I think
Yeah,
it's
back in my day, we had dancing hamsters, and we were happy. We were happy back
We were
then.
happy with our dancing hamsters, then the internet came along and ruined everything. Now those
and
hamsters
before
are
that
dead.
they were happy with dead hamsters because they killed them in the pursuit of making them dance.
We were happy with our dancing hamsters, our dancing CGI babies, and our badger.
Oh,
Badger.
I love that thing so much. I love that. Not only because it's funny, but because my dad hates badgers because he's a farmer. So I had a thing where when I actually saw my dad, I would literally go into the room he was in, go to the one next to it, put my phone on a really low volume, play that video, and just put it next to the door, and see how long it took him to realise it.
So it was my birthday, so I got this thing, and I'm going to use it. Alexa, all your base are belong to us.
You have no chance to survive. Make your time.
It makes me happy.
And now think of all the complex technology necessary to make that joke.
Take off every zig. Someone set us up the bomb. Hey, Joel, guess what time it is?
Hammer time?
Derail time.
Derail time, right. I did the thing with the arms when I said hammer time. Okay, so, yeah, why not? Let's talk about the most boring thing ever. Do you have a guess what it is?
Lists?
No.
Taking a poo.
Okay, you both failed. It's weather. And my point is that weather is not the most boring thing ever, because I think it gets a bad rap. It's really fascinating. It's constantly changing, and it's totally different anywhere you go. And there are weather maps.
Oh, maps again.
Yeah.
What is it with you and maps, Joel? Do you have a thing for them?
I don't know. Listen to previous episodes to find out. Yeah. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about weather and how great it is, and
Yeah.
not
But-
that it's boring.
The only reason I think weather is great because the pollen haven't arrived yet for me, because I'm highly allergic.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I'm allergic to everything.
And it's the greatest time of year, I think, right now, because you have all the anticipation of spring and life coming back to the world without the hay fever. Do you guys have a favorite time of the year?
Winter.
Winter.
Fall, definitely fall.
Does that say a lot about you?
Yeah, we
think?
like the depressing seasons.
No, it's the season where like it's just cold enough where you could wear like a thin sweater and then go out on hikes, and it's beautiful out and it's great. It's not hot. There's not a lot of insects. There's not a lot of pollen. It's perfect.
Then you have very different autumns than I do, because my autumn is basically wind and rain to oblivion.
Yeah, but it's always rainy here in Germany.
It's always rainy in Britain, all right?
Yeah,
Don't
well,
worry.
that's true. Well, I mean, you missed out when I was actually in Britain
Yeah.
last episode, and my internet sucked. And I kept asking inane questions about, if you guys drive on the left-hand side of the road, why did people almost run me over on the right-hand side of the road with bikes? And, Chloe just
It
kind of...
doesn't make sense in Britain. We don't really like to make sense of things. It's just easier that way. Plus, we need
And things like that.
someone to hate. So
Yeah.
make it the bicyclists, make it the bikers, cyclists.
Bicyclists? Cyclists?
Cyclists. That's the word. Anyway, I like winter for two. There are two main reasons I like winter. Because one, we've basically fucked our chances of snow at this point in this country. We don't get snow anymore. We get it like twice. So there's a sadistic part of me that gets an immeasurable amount of glee when everyone's like, "It's gonna snow tomorrow. We don't need to go to school." And then they come in tomorrow to school and they're just miserable. And they've got these dour looks on their faces like, "I really thought we weren't going to be coming in today." And then when it actually does snow and you don't have to go to school, it's brilliant, because you don't have to go to school and you didn't get your hopes up. Plus, you have an excuse to stay inside and play video games all day, whereas in summer you need an excuse to do that.
But how much snow do you need to not have to go to school?
Oh, I live in like a rural area, so we don't need much because all the teachers are from various different areas. So if one town's blocked, then it's like, and that's got 5 teachers in it, they're pretty much fucked. So they have to close down. It's brilliant.
So to block a town, how many millimeters of snow do you need?
Honestly, it doesn't even take that.
Because
Most,
yeah,
I'm
you
pretty
freak
sure our
out
school doesn't like
immediately.
being open, so they just don't.
I think my brain died just trying to consider the fact that you can measure snow in millimeters. Like it's never been a thing that I've ever had to do.
I can't really imagine someone getting like a ruler and just dropping it in the snow and just saying 2 millimeters.
Well, inches.
Inches don't make any sense. I was
Yeah,
raised
I
on
was about to say
centimeters and meters and millimeters, and anything else is just magic.
Do you know
to me.
why? Do you know why? Because it makes sense. Nothing else does. Inches and yards and foot and feet, I mean, don't make any sense. Why would
Foots
you
is
so
miles,
it's so complicated to when you have to convert them.
gallons.
Why would you make such a hassle out of such simple tasks?
You're like, why do you have to make measuring something hard? I mean, if you've got a beautiful boy home, you want to have some fun. You take him into the toilets for a quick handy, and then want to measure how big his mobile is. So, and you think, okay, I want to see how big your mobile phone is, and then and then you get your thing out. You're gonna measure that mobile phone in centimeters, not inches.
It sounds more
Actually,
impressive, probably.
Even in Germany, where we use centimeters and meters and so on, we actually, when we measure something like a mobile phone, we don't use centimeters. We use Zoll. And I don't know what that is.
What?
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know. It's some weird measurement, and I can work with it, but only if it relates to mobile phones or other displays like monitors for your computer and so on. And it's really weird, and it's also the same word as toll, like a toll road or so on, and it's weird.
We need to fix language. Can we do
Yeah.
an 9.5-hour comedy podcast?
Well,
We can
we're
do that
halfway
at
through,
the end
so-
of a podcast. We can pitch language as it should be.
We can bitch.
Actually,
new
I-
words.
I listened to a podcast about Wittgenstein, so I should be eloquently able to talk about language. Oh, Wittgenstein is... Oh my god, I can't pronounce the name even though it's German. I can say Nietzsche, but I can't say Wittgenstein, so that's his name.
I could butcher it. All right, I think we're going round circle.
Alright, hold on, give me a sec.
Alexa, tell a joke.
How many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one,
One.
but the light bulb has to want to change.
Too real, it's too real.
I read that joke recently, so...
A little too close to home on that one. All right. Man, she's actually, these jokes have been pretty on point just for this podcast. There you go. Amazon Echo.
Buy it now in stores. Sponsor us, Amazon.
Yes. Sponsor us now. Yes. With our unsponsorable content.
This episode is brought to you by fuck all.
I think it's derail
Yes,
time.
it is. I'm just trying to think because I was going to talk about Power Rangers, but I've already done that.
You ruined it for yourself.
Power Rangers. Don't bring up porn. Don't bring up porn again. Fuck, I'm talking about porn. So I went to... Right, I'm going to give you some setup for this because I went to... My school had like a convention to go to about universities and everything because I'm off to uni in a couple of years. Woo! And all these universities had different booths up, and one of them gave everyone that went there Google Cardboard VR headsets. So, and as soon as you say VR to someone,
Okay.
pretty much all of them, everyone just, in the back of their minds at least, thinks about the porn. Don't deny
but
it.
sure.
Don't deny it, dear. We all think about the porn. We all think about it. There's nothing wrong with it, but we do. So, I don't want to say, shall we make a VR porn film, but that's weird. What should porn... Think of
Okay,
something for me to say,
let's
Nick, please.
how about we discuss the possibilities of VR headsets beyond just the possibilities of porn? I mean, what do you guys actually do think of VR headsets and all this nonsense?
I don't think it's ever going to be, and this is coming from someone who doesn't game and so on, so I'm probably very much the wrong person to comment on this thing, but I don't think it's going to be the next big thing.
Oh no, even if somebody plays games.
So I don't think it's going to catch on as a thing which everybody's going to have, like an Xbox catches on. That won't happen with VR. It will stay a novelty device, but there has to be some way in which big corporations can make a lot of money using VR, whether that's going to be through virtual shopping or so on.
You gotta legitimize the porno industry and do that.
That's how Betamax lost.
I think that is it the lens? The Microsoft Lens? HoloLens, yeah. I was missing the front part. Yeah, I think that's way more practical and something that people would use outside of... It's basically going to be something that everyone's just going to be playing Pokemon Go on 24/7.
But that's not virtual reality. That's augmented reality, right?
That's augmented reality, but they're actually making hybrid sets.
Also, you can opt in, basically, to full on VR.
So, like, they've got the VR headsets, but then they've also, like, have the VR headsets with, like, cameras so that you can view through them.
Uh-huh.
So that when you, like, pause the game, you can actually see what's going on around you as opposed to being trapped in the dark while someone's robbing you.
I mean...
It will make robbing places a lot easier if someone wants to be a criminal, just buy everyone in your neighborhood a VR headset. They'll be off playing Job Simulator or having a virtual lap dance, and Job Simulator's a genuine thing, it's really good. But it's like they'll be off doing that, talking to these robots, stealing their glasses, and then you'll just walk in and take their TV.
It's like, wow, these things are like $600. And it's like, nah, don't worry about it. As you steal their car and everything else. It's a good plan. Like, have you actually seen anything with VR that like has like actually astounded you?
I did quite like accounting.
What? Said no one ever.
Have either of you heard about accounting? It's the VR game.
Is that the one? It's got.
It's the one Justin Roiland
It's got the guy.
made. Yeah.
Yeah, with Ego Raptor. Yeah.
It's glorious, but also terrifying. Because I'm gonna spoil a free VR game. If you've not played it already, you're probably gonna play it soon. And let's be honest, you've not got enough people to piss off. Basically, there's a scene in it where you have to stab someone, like with an.
It's called accounting, right?
Yes, it's called accounting. Basically.
How are you going to stab someone?
You grab a knife and
with
why is the
you grab a knife and basically you just put the headset on and you enter like a different world. And there's just a guy there who's like, oh boy, I'm so glad to have a friend here. I'm gonna talk about stuff with you for ages. And I went and took a big poopy shit. And I took a shit and it was poopy. And just while he's doing this, the only way to get him to shut up is to go over to a table, grab a knife, and then a cut mark, like a scissor line appears down his stomach. So you have to stab the knife into him, just cut down, and while he's just screaming, "Ah, you're killing me! Ah, what are you doing?" Turns out that was the king of VR. Then you go on trial for this, and and then eventually you lose the trial, and you have to get under a guillotine, and it cuts your head off.
Okay,
It's
all right.
It's so much fun to watch.
The only VR experience I had was that game where you're supposed to hold like your fingers on the control buttons and not let go, and then they like throw crap at you and everything.
You mean, yeah.
I laughed my head off through the entire thing, and the guy who like ran the booth was like, "You're the only one who's made it all the way through to the end," and I'm like, nothing about that was scary or realistic whatsoever.
Good boy needs a reward.
I was pretty bored. He put me on a roller coaster and all kinds of other stuff, and I'm just like, it's not great.
Because I've heard everyone who I heard talking about VR was really enthusiastic about it, and they all said, "Oh, you gotta try it, and then you'll see what it's all about, and you'll be amazed, and it's great." And I've never heard someone actually being like, VR isn't that great, because they don't think it's necessary to speak out about it. But how in particular did you think that it was not great? Graphics or...
We were going off of one of the demo Oculus headsets, so the resolution wasn't great.
All right.
Like the immersion wasn't very good.
Yeah, I do hear that a lot of people have problems with like the screen glass door effect, where it's just everything looks slightly blurred or off, so it's not quite easy. You can't quite immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, and you could adjust that, and I got it eventually. But like, what are you going to do in VR that is different than just a normal video game? Like the fact you can look around the room and everything's cool, but like the moment you put your head through something, or like something isn't 100, like the Uncanny Valley, like the moment like a raptor walks into the room to try and scare you, and its feet don't move correctly, like immediately, like, logically, I can't.
That's why Job Simulator works really well, because it's just a 30-minute comedy game where everyone you talk to is just a robot screen, so there's no real Uncanny Valley because it's already just a floating computer. Yeah,
I'd probably have a good feeling with that, but I think everyone tried to go for to scare you with the whole fake thing at your face and stuff like that, and dropping a spider on you.
Anyone who enjoys VR horror is just dumb.
It's boring.
And
it's not scary.
I think VR as a whole is not quite suitable for games. I see why it emerges kind of in the corner of media in games, but it doesn't actually make sense in games because movement is really hard. You can teleport with VR and so on, but that just feels awkward and like cheating because you can't move. You can't see your controller.
Oh, you can actually.
Yeah.
So you could spend the extra $2,000 or so to get a platform with special shoes that sockets into these little grooves, and you can actually run in place. You're held with a belt, and you could kind of run in place, and you could also buy a fake gun and stuff like that. And you could basically go hiking through Skyrim and stuff like that.
You mean on a Dance Dance Revolution pad kind of thing?
No, it's curved.
Like a treadmill, but it's been curved into a ball in one place, so you're not actually moving anywhere, but it's it's a 360 treadmill that you stood in place with, that's not actually moving against you.
Yeah.
But how? Oh, so it's flat.
No, it's concave.
Yeah, it's like an inverted.
Yeah,
that sounds really awkward.
Yeah, so when you take a step, your feet fall into these grooves, and that registers the input, and you basically walk and run, crouch, and do things like that.
It does sound a lot less interesting when you describe it.
Pretty sure it's worth looking at, but everyone looks like a dork in it. So I mean,
they tried putting really attractive people in there, and it didn't work.
I don't think anyone could look attractive in one of those things. It's like the cinnamon challenge for VR.
Challenge of VR.
All right. So I'm going to kind of summarize the few notes that I have for this podcast. And I didn't catch everything, but I briefly discussed Alexa, don't you say anything, YouTube comments, Jim Sterling, ratings, weather, measurements, languages, VR headsets, and being robbed while wearing one. Those are my notes. I guess Power Rangers was in there too. Yeah. So we got to give it a think.
Power Rangers Home Defenders. We get actual Power Rangers to defend our homes while we're playing VR, so that robbers can't take anything.
Hold on. Take that idea. Let's remove the Power Rangers real quick. How about we create a artificial intelligence system that scours YouTube comments in order to psych out and scare away robbers?
I think scare away is going to work better.
That's a really good
idea. Psyching out implies intelligence,
Totally.
and that's not anywhere to be found in YouTube comments. So
I'm pretty sure you'd walk up to the door and it's like, oh, I see you're robbing the place, and then it'll be like,
it's going to be the Microsoft Office paper clip. I see you are robbing this building. Would you like help?
Would you like help with that?
Then a net just drops down and I caught you. You fell for it.
You want some help? You want some help?
It's just a giant paperclip that will. It's just a giant paperclip that will follow you around the building as you're stealing stuff. Just saying, do you want smoke with that? Would you like me to get some bags for you?
There is actually a YouTube video where they create a robot Clippy to follow them around, and it's like following this guy who's about to rob this lady, and it's like, it looks like you're about to rob some lady. Want some help?
Oh, that would be great.
It looks like you're about to assassinate Abraham Lincoln. Want some help?
You should get one. Send one to M. Night Shyamalan and just have it say, "I see you're trying to write an awful movie. Would you like some help?"
They always promoted it as like an action film with Clippy in it. I think it would be more like a horror film.
Get Out 2.
Get Out 2. It turns out there's just a guy inside with a VR headset.
Wait, inside Clippy or?
No. So Get Out. Wait, am I thinking of the right movie with the blind guy?
I think Get Out. No, the black guy. It's the horror film. It's the horror comedy.
No, the black guy.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Horror comedy.
I was
about
thinking.
racism, I think.
Yeah, but what was the one with the blind guy?
Oculus. I don't know.
No, that was the one about the mirror killing everyone, which is the
Wait, what?
stupidest idea ever.
It's
Yeah.
Joel, it's a horror. Joel,
don't
it's
wanna
a
talk
horror
about
film. Go with it.
It was stupid. Just
Like I say,
yeah.
horror film. I don't watch horror films, so I don't know. The closest I've got to horror recently is Gravity Falls. So you know.
Yeah. Anyways, it had a
sounds
great
horror.
it had a great scene involving a turkey baster and stuff.
I love movies.
So stupid. All right. Yeah, so we also talk about measurements and languages and stuff like that. So can we think of any like product or
So I
pitch?
think, well, if the robbers are going to be giving their victims VR headsets, maybe they could also install like those self-service checkouts at the end. So you know, just next to the door, you put a self-service checkout. So at least if you're going to rob someone blind, they know what's been taken.
How about a security system that for VR headsets that to get you out of the immersion of the world, we bring Clippy in, who follows you around in your virtual world
Oh my God.
And
until you
but
get out.
can actually use the Clippy for measurements. Like in the augmented reality, you can like fold it out to measure things, and it helps you write essays and so on.
It looks
Is it, so, hold on.
it looks like you're being robbed and trying to find your gun. Do you want me to measure the distance between you and the gun?
Or does it rob you?
Ooh, horror twist. It's a
Horror
film.
twist.
Yes.
We need to pitch a film about Clippy. Right, okay. No, a guy plays
So
a guy
it tries
plays
to-
VR for so long that when he goes out, the Clippy is still following him in his head, and it's telling him to do all these evil things. So it's like, I see you are
That's
buying
Donnie
groceries.
Darko.
Would you like to help steal them? And then eventually it just graduates more and more, and eventually he's being haunted in his dreams by Clippy, and eventually he can't take it anymore, so he tries to shoot the Clippy, and he ends up shooting his wife, and then
Power
yes,
Rangers.
the Power Rangers come in and they fight Clippy.
He plays Power Rangers VR game for so long because the movie's coming out, so there's got to be one, right? And then Clippy starts showing up. He was part of their security system, and basically he's been bothered by Clippy for so long that he begins to see him in like the real world, and Clippy just suggests like the most horrible things, like it looks like you're trying to murder that lady, right? And all he's doing is like buying groceries and things like that, and he's like, "No, Clippy,
See,
shut
I've
up."
just noticed an American couple. Would you like to kill them? It just gets really dark. That was so awful. I can't believe I
Yeah.
said that.
Oh my gosh.
No,
We-
and the Clippy, the AI, learned how to talk through
YouTube comments.
looking at YouTube comments.
Oh my
right.
God, it's
So
so
everything it says sounds
He's-
like YouTube comments.
He's powered by an AI that scours YouTube
Okay.
comments, so
do
that explains the how evil he is.
Do you remember this AI on Twitter that learned how to tweet and got really anti-Semitic and
Oh
racist
yes, I
and
remember
so
that.
on?
That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I imagine it like that.
Or you could just follow John Tron on
Oh,
Twitter. And,
topical. Yeah, let's not talk about it. I was disappointed in that because I used to like him.
it's not the first time he's
I
done
know,
that too.
But
So
it's kind of harder and harder to block out the thoughts.
all right,
So no, wait, we need a name for this film.
okay.
So it's a horror film involving Clippy
When-
Paperclip. telling you to kill people.
When Clippy calls.
When Clippy
When-
calls. Clippy, the Clippy Clipster. Clip.
Clip follows.
Something witty with,
Clip out.
I don't know, guns, but
Clip out.
About like what your audio just did?
Yeah. Clip out. That kind of works. Plus it's
Take his advice and you die.
Plus, it's close enough to
Rated
a
R.
well-known thing that we can get those confused grandparents. We can get the money off them that buy Transmorphers instead of Transformers. We can be them with VR horror films.
Yeah. Well,
No.
it's not going to be rated R. It's going to be
Experience.
No,
PG-13.
this is for the kids. This isn't you.
Experience.
He's going to murder people, but he ain't going to get any blood. We're not monsters.
so it's horror for
Yeah.
kids.
Well,
to say.
that's
so
pretty
it's,
much what-
it's really
Joel, we need to
innocent.
scare those
Or what do
children.
you mean?
We need to teach them to be scared of the
You
world.
can get away with a
Right.
lot in PG-13. It'll also just randomly have Jim Sterling in it for no reason in one of his scary costumes.
I see Jim Sterling has posted a new review.
Yeah.
Would you like to send him some abusive comments?
Would you like to wish him dead or sue him?
You think that's a joke, but he genuinely got
So
sued. That's. Let's not get into that. Clip
Clip
out.
out.
Coming
I'm
to
coming
theatre
to
near
you.
Clip out.
In a couple of weeks.
No. A VR booth where you can try it out because you can't actually afford it because nobody can, and it's gonna disappear from the market soon because
It's got a
expensive.
promotional game that goes with it that's for your VR headset, and it's just basically a generic like walking simulator, but Clippy's just gonna follow you everywhere.
walking simulator in
It's-
VR. Oh right,
it's-
on this weird contraption where
Yeah.
you walk around, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna be like it looks like you're trying to enjoy the sunset. Want some help? No,
so
Clippy,
it
go away.
focuses on the one mechanic, which is really shitty in VR.
Yes.
Great.
And then eventually he'll just start spouting YouTube comments. It's like, I thought the band was better when they did drugs. No, the band was better when they stopped doing drugs.
I actually saw that in a YouTube comment the other day. That made me sad.
What about assholes? That's my favorite YouTube saying.
What's that mean?
Flat Earth
Oh no.
theorists believe that NASA's covering up the flat Earth, even though it's easily disproven
It's such a
by looking at the
it's
sky.
such a shit conspiracy theory as well.
All right, we are starting to go off topic. Thank you for listening, and we're going to end this episode.
Twitter, podcast with no aim. Podcast no aim at podcast no aim. Got it right third time.
And find us at nwa.podbean.com.
NWA.
PWNA.
This because I found this out earlier. Not
PWNA.
people with Native Americans. Podcast with no aim. That's a genuine thing. That's a genuine thing we found out. I really hope they don't try and
Oh
start a
my
podcast,
gosh.
or we're in trouble. Peace out.
Peace out. I'm done ruining
What's
this
Power
podcast.
Rangers?
Bye. Hello, this is Nick from the Podcast with No Aim. Thank you for listening. I just want to inform you all that you could always find more information about us and more episodes on pwna.podbean.com. You could also find us on iTunes and on YouTube. If you want to get in contact with us, you can always tweet us on Twitter using the handle Podcast No Aim. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you again for listening.